ఐటీలో ఎంట్రీ కావాలా? ట్రైనీ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇంజనీర్ గా అజా కోడింగ్ ట్యూటర్ లో 2 వీక్స్ ట్రయల్ పీరియడ్ లో వెంటనే చేరండి.
Hello guys, my name is Srinivas Rao. I am a Python trainer. I have 20 years of experience in which I have both project experience as well as teaching experience. And in the previous video, we had discussed about data types and variables in detail. Previous session we discussed operators also. So in this session today, we will be discussing about controlling the program flow. What are control flow statements in Python? The flow statements, the flow control statements are divided into 3 categories. Number 1, conditional statements, iterative statements and transfer statements. They are divided into 3 categories. Flow control statements are divided into 3 categories. One is conditional statements, one is transfer statements and one is iterative statements. Under conditional statements, we have if, if-else, if-elif-else and nested if-else. And also we have shorthand if, and also we have match case. So there are 5 conditional statements. Number one is if, second one is if-else, third one is if-elif-else, fourth one is nested if-else, and we have shorthand if as well as match case. So one by one we will be discussing. So what is if statement? Simple if. Under conditional statements, the first one is simple if. In Python, conditional statements acts depending upon the condition, whether a given condition is true or false. You can execute different blocks of code depending upon the outcome of a condition. Condition statements always equal to either true or false. Okay. Now there are 4 types of conditional statements. Actually, there are 6 types. One is simple, second one is if-else, third one is if-elif-else, fourth one is nested if-else, and fifth one is shorthand if, and sixth one is match case. So we will be discussing one by one. We will start with simple if. Now what is simple if? In control statements, the if statement is the simplest form. It takes a condition and evaluates either true or false. If the condition is true, then the true block of code will be executed, and if the condition is false, then the code is skipped. The code is skipped, it will come out of the block. The control moves to the next time. First we will see the syntax. Syntax is very important. See, this is the syntax of simple if. Okay, if condition, okay, condition, then it use this indentation. Okay, I'll explain here. Syntax of simple if. Simple if. If condition, and here we use in Python we use this indentation, colon, we use colon, then we should leave some gap here. So this becomes if block, this become if block. If condition is true, then it comes to this if block. When the condition is true, it will execute these blocks, these statements here. For example, statement 1, statement 2, 1, statement 2, dot 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 dot. Okay. If condition is true, the program control comes like this. If this condition is true, then it comes to this block. Which block? This if block. If condition is false, okay, it won't go to this block. It comes to out of the block here. This is out of the block. See here, if condition, see here there is a gap here. Here there is a gap here. So there is a gap here. If condition is true, if this becomes true, then it comes to this block here. It will execute statement 1, it will execute statement 2, it executes statement n, then after that it will come here, it will come here. This is out of the block, out of the block. Yes. Now for example, if the condition is false, if the condition is false, now for example, this condition is false. When this condition is false, what happens? It won't go to this block. this inside block. This is if block, it won't go, it comes out of the block here. When the condition is false. Right? Now we'll see one example. We'll see one example. So what I'll do, I'll go to PyCharm. I'll go to PyCharm. Now I'll declare two variables, for example, x equals to 200 and y equals to 100. I want to print the greatest of this number. So what I'll do, I'll use this syntax. With syntax, simple if syntax. If bracket open bracket close and x greater than operator y, and we should put here one indentation operator, indentation here. This is indentation. And when you press enter, automatically this editor will take some gap here. There is one gap between each here. Okay. So start from here. Print suppose example x is greater. X is greater. That's it. Now what do I will run this program. When I run this program, you will get output x is greater. X is greater. When you run this program, we got x is greater because the condition is true. When the condition is true, it comes inside the block, it will execute this line. And what I'll know, I'll write one more statement out of the block. For example, you'll say print hello, for example. Print hello. So what happens? The condition is true, it will check the condition. 20 is greater than 100, yes, the condition is true. First it comes inside the block. First it comes inside the block, it will execute this line. It will execute this line, line number 5. After executing line number 5, it will come out of the block and it will execute this line. It will execute this line. Okay. Let me show you once again. Again, I will run this program. So first it will print x is greater, then it will come out of the block and it will display hello also. This is simple if. Okay. Now we will see the second syntax. We will see now second syntax. This is simple syntax and this is a flow chart. Simple flow chart, test condition. If it is true, it will execute this if block. If it is false, it will come out of the block. This is flow chart of simple if, right? Yes. Now, next we'll this is one example. This is one example. If I'll declare one variable called number and I'll assign some value called 6. If number is greater than 5, okay, print number into number. It's nothing but square, for example. And after executing, it will come out of the block. It prints next line of code. My output is what? Output is this condition is true. This condition is true. So it comes inside the block. It prints number into number. Number into number is what? 6 into 6. 6 into 6 is 36. And then it will come out of the block and prints next line of code. Okay. This is first syntax. Now we'll come to second syntax. The second syntax is if-else statement. Now what is the if-else statement? The if-else statement checks the condition and executes the if block of code when the condition is true. And if the condition is false, it will execute the block of else block of code. Now here, see the syntax here. Now there are two blocks. Now how many blocks are there? There are two blocks. This is block 1, this is if block, and this is else block. Yes. When the program control comes from top and it checks the condition. It checks the condition. If this condition is true, it comes inside the block, first block, the statement block, it will execute this line. After executing this line, then it comes out of the block. Here, it comes here. This is when the condition is true. When the condition is true. When the condition is true. For example, when the condition is false, when this condition is false, what happens? It won't go to statement 1 block. It comes to directly jumps to else block, this block, and will execute this statement 2 block. When the condition is false. After executing statement 2, directly comes out of the block here. This is second syntax, that is if-else statement. So here will be two blocks. They will be having two blocks here, if block and else block. Else block. This is second syntax. Okay. Now we'll see one example. What I'll do, I'll declare two variables, same variables. Okay, x equals to 200 and y equals to 100. Now I want to print the greatest of these two numbers. Print the, this is comment, print the greatest of two numbers, about two numbers. Okay, right. So what I'll now, first I'll write if condition, what is x is greater than y. If this condition is true, so put here indentation. Normally what we'll do in other language like C, C++, Java, in C or C++ or Java or JavaScript, other language, what will you hear there in condition we'll put here floor brackets. Okay, floor brackets. But in Python we use indentation. If condition, we'll put indentation operator and we'll leave some gap here. We'll write statements here. We'll leave some gap here. Okay, this is in Python language. Right. So same way here we written if condition, indentation operator, then leave some gap here. So print x is greater. X is greater when the condition is true. Otherwise come here, right, else block, again indentation and print y is greater, yes. Now first check the condition here, x is 200 and y is 100. Okay, 200 is greater than 100, yes, the condition is true. Now it will execute this block. Why? Because this is true. So it executes this line, this block, print x is greater. Okay, I'll show you the more. I will run this program. When I run this program, now see the output here, we got it, x is greater. Right. Now what I'll do, I'll change the value from 100 to, I'll give as 300. I change the value of y to 300. Now we'll see, is this condition is true or false? Now see here, this condition is false now because 200 is not greater than 100. This becomes false. The condition is false, so it will ignore this line number 7. Directly jumps to line number 9 and it executes this line, that is y is greater. Let me run the program. When you run this program, it is displaying as y is greater. Right. Now what I'll do here, I will come out of the block. And I'll write here, for example, print hello. I came out of the block and writing this hello statement here, right? And what I'll do here, I'll change to from 200 to 500, for example. Again I will run the program. When I run this program, the condition is true because 500 is greater than 300. So it comes to line number 7. From line number 7, directly comes after executing this line number 7, it prints x is greater. Then it comes out of the block to the 10th line and reprints hello. This is if block. And this is else block. And line number 10. Line number 10 is out of the block. Right? So condition is true because 500 is greater than 300. So it executes this line, this if block. After executing this if block, line number 7, it comes out of the block and it prints hello. Okay. We will see now. We will run this program. Yes, x is greater and it's printing hello, right? This is example of if else. Now third one, we will discuss one third one in this session, that is shorthand if. What is shorthand if? See, in other languages, there is a concept called ternary operator. In C, C++ and Java or JavaScript, there is one concept called ternary operator, writing in single line. But here there is no concept called operator, but we have shorthand if. Shorthand if. So this is nothing but writing in a single line, writing if statement in single line, if else in single line, okay, right. Now we'll see this example. So what I do, instead of writing this line number 6, line number 7, line number 8, line number 9, what I do, I will write in a single line. It is called shorthand if. Print x is greater, okay. Now I'll add condition here. When this statement should execute, when x is greater than y, x is greater than y. Otherwise else, what should I print? I should print what? Y is greater, y is greater. That's it. I written, instead of writing in 4 lines, I written in a single line. So this is called what? Shorthand if. And I'll execute this program, you will get the same output, x is greater, x is greater. So this is called shorthand if. Instead of writing in 4 or 5 lines, I written in a single line. Yes. Now we'll see the third syntax now. The third syntax is if-else statement. So when you need to check multiple conditions, see, until now we checked only single conditions, but if I have multiple conditions, so we use this third syntax. The third syntax is if-elif-else statement. In other language like if-else-if-else statement, but here we use elif instead of else if. In other language like C++, Java, we use else if. In Python, we use elif. So when you need to check multiple conditions, you have to use this if-elif-else statement. The elif statements checks multiple conditions one by one, and the condition fulfills. If that condition fulfills, it will execute that particular block now. Okay. Now this is a syntax. This is a syntax. Now here we have multiple conditions. So here, first it will check this condition 1. If this condition 1 is true, then it will execute this block. Then it executes the first block when the condition is 1. For example, if the condition 1 is false, when the condition is false, it comes to second condition. When condition 1 is false, it comes to second condition. If condition 2 is true, then it executes this statement 2 block when the condition is true. But for example, if condition 2 also false, then it comes to condition 3. It comes to condition 3. If this condition 3 is true, it comes to third block, this statement 3 block. It will execute this statement. For example, if all are false, if condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, these all conditions are false. If these all conditions are false, directly it comes to else statement, and it executes else block. So this is called if-elif, okay, not else if, it is elif. In Python we say elif and else. So this elif will check multiple conditions. This elif will check multiple conditions. Yes. Now we will see one example. We'll see one example now. Right. So I'll go to PyCharm. What will you hear? I'll declare 3 variables now. One is 100, x equals to 100, y equals to 200, and one more variable z equals to 300. Now I want to print the greatest of above 3 numbers. Print the greatest of above 3 numbers. Right. So we'll use this syntax, third syntax, that is if-elif-else statement. Right. Now please here, if brackets, first condition what, x should be greater than y, and we use AND logical operator. In previous video we had discussed what is AND or NOT logical operators. Okay, true and true, it's true, true and false, it false. So x is greater than y and x is greater than z. If this condition is true, indentation operator, then leave some gap here, then print x is greater, x is greater. Suppose example, if line number 6 is false, this first condition is false, I want to check another condition. So if you want to check another condition, come here and write elif, because I want to check another condition. So bracket open, again y greater than x, y greater than x, and operator, and logical operator. I want to check one more condition, what, y should be greater than z. If this condition is true, put indentation, then write the statement called print y is greater, y is greater. Otherwise use this else indentation, and if both line number 6 is false, line number 8 is false, comes to line number 11 and it prints z is greater. That's it. Now, what is value of x? The value of x is 100, the value of y is 200, and the value of z is 300. So it checks condition here. This x is greater than y. 100 is greater than 200. No. So this is false. And x is greater than z. 100 is greater than 300. No, this is also false. False and false. False and false is what? False. So this entire expression becomes false. So it will ignore line number 7 and directly comes to line number 8. It's a second condition. What? 200 is greater than x, 200 is greater than 100, yes. So this is true. And 200 greater than 300, no, this is false. And in the previous video session we discussed what? Logical operators. True and false is entire expression becomes false. So line number 6 is false, line number 8 is false. So directly it comes to else block and it executes this line, this block, else block. So finally we got output as what? Z is greater. Z is greater. Okay. This is checking multiple condition by using if, elif and else block. And we will see one last syntax today. There is one, the last syntax in if is nested, N-E-S-T-E-D, if else. It's nothing but if condition inside one more if condition. If condition inside one more if condition. Let me explain the syntax. Okay, first I'll show you the syntax. Understanding syntax is very important. So we will see the syntax of nested if condition. So what is the syntax? If condition, indentation, okay, and inside again there is one more if condition. Inside there is one more if condition, indentation. Okay, this is inner block. This is inner block of if. Okay, then for this we have one else, indentation operator. This is else block. So this else is else, inner else. This is inner else. And for this if there is one more else here. So this is called outer else. Outer else, this is else block of outer. Now the program controls comes from top. It checks the condition. First it checks this condition. This condition. If this condition is true, then it comes to second if. Inside one more if is there, there it comes. If inner if is true, then it comes to inner if block. If this condition is false, inner condition is false, it comes to inner else block, and it will come out of the block then. But for example, this is false. This is false. The outer condition, the outer else is the outer if is false, then directly it comes to outer else and it will execute this block. Okay, right. Now we'll do one example. We'll modify the same program. If-elif-else program. We'll enhance this program. For example, A is 100, B is 200, and C is 300. Okay, I want to print the greatest using normal if-elif-else block. Print the greatest of above 3 numbers. Greatest of above 3 numbers. When all are positive. The condition should be the numbers should be, all the above numbers should be positive numbers. If they all are positive, then print the greatest of these 3 numbers. The condition should be all the numbers should be positive numbers. But when any one of the number is negative, when any one of the number is negative, and it should print one message. What message? Numbers should be positive. It should not be negative. Numbers should be positive. It should not be negative. Okay, should be positive numbers only. You should get one message if any one of the number is negative. So we'll write this program. So same program, just will enhance. Okay, see, all are positive. But for example, if any one of the number is negative, then it should print the above one of the number is negative. So negative numbers are not allowed to compare. Okay, so I'll write here, print the greatest of above 3 numbers if all are positive. If any one of the number is negative, it should print one message. The message is number should not be negative. Number should not be negative. Should not be negative. Right. So what do you know? I'll write one outer if. See, please here. If x should be greater than 0, and operator and logical operator. Y also should be greater than 0 and logical operator. Z also should be greater than 0. Okay, and I'll give one common bracket for these 3 conditions for this expression. Okay, common bracket. Indentation operator. Indentation, and when you use indentation for outer, there should be some gap. So just click tab here. Okay, again for this if indentation, there should be some gap, and this is inner else, gap. And now what I will do, I will write else. else. This is else for outer if. Yes. Else, okay. Else what? Print, else, show one message. What? Negative numbers are not allowed. Numbers are not allowed. Yes, done. Now, see here. Yes, my x is 100. It is positive number. This is also positive number. This is also positive number. Meaning what? This condition is true because all are greater than 0. This condition is true. So, it comes to line number 9. It comes here. It comes to line number 9. 100 is greater than 200. No, it is false. So, entire condition false and true also, it becomes false. This line number 9 becomes false. Then it jumps to line number 11 to check second condition. Y is greater than x. 200 is greater than 300. No, this is also false. This is also false. And directly it jumps to this line number 14 and it prints z is greater. It prints z is greater. Same output. When all are positive, you will get the same output. Z is greater. Now what I'll do, I'll make one change here. I'll make one change. Here what I'll do, I'll put here minus 200. Now in this, one of the number is negative. One of the number is negative. Now what happens? Now it will check this condition. X is greater than 100. X is greater than 0. Yes, this is true. Y is greater than 0. No, this is false. So entire condition becomes false because one of the conditions is false. So entire condition becomes false. Then it won't go inside the block. Directly comes here. Directly it comes here. Now what happens? One of the number is negative. If one of the number is negative, directly comes to line number 16 because line number 7 is false. So it won't comes to line number 9. It won't come to this block. It comes to else block of outer, and comes to line number 16. It will display negative numbers are not allowed. Okay, let me run this program. It is displaying what? Negative numbers are not allowed. This is example of nested if statement. In the next session, we'll discuss one more conditional statement, that is match case. In next session, we'll discuss about match case and also very important concept, how to debug the programs. How to debug the programs, we'll discuss in next video session. These two concepts we'll be discussing in next session. Okay.